everybody? It is me, Demetra K, and it is a nice, 80 degrees Sunday here in Riverside, or Moreno Valley, rather. I'm in Moreno Valley, California, and so...
You're right on the board.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I will wait for everybody to get on. I want to say hello to everybody. Hello to those on YouTube. Hello to those on Facebook Live. Hello to those on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker. Everywhere and nowhere.
Right. No excuse not to be woke.
Right. So we are everywhere, and as always, I'd like to say a big giant thank you to my partner in crime, Donovan. His heart don't pump no Kool-Aid, Sadiq.
That's right.
We, as you guys noticed, we changed his name from throwing rocks and hiding his hand. We gave him a more fierce name, if you will. Also, a big thank you to Marcus Guyton for all that he does in spreading the message so that more people can get it. And to you, Facebook Live, because without you guys being here, it is hard to carry this dialogue. Like me and Donovan, we could talk a lot, but we need you guys to kind of do the conversation with us. And so, anyway, I give you guys a couple of more minutes to get on, and then we'll go ahead and get into the topic of Black people shouldn't cape for Kamala. So
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Next week is Super Bowl. What are you going to be doing for that?
Super Bowl, what's that?
Okay.
I get why you asking me, because we're going to see how many people
yes, exactly. We see the numbers.
The NFL. Mm-hmm. We see the numbers. Well, I mean, you watch football.
Yeah, but I got YouTube. I got YouTube, so I can get the clips and the highlights later. That's why it didn't really affect me this year.
Okay, so. Well, listen. If you want to be here next week,
I'm going to be here
next week.
I'm here next week. Look,
I don't watch the Super Bowl.
Look, we can't be talking about being awoke and stuff, and we ain't walking like we talking.
Right, because I don't watch football, so I'm going to be here next week, you guys. So anyway, all right, so let's get into it. And hello to everybody. And I promise to read everybody's comments, because that's what we do here. We read everybody's comments so that we can get some good, healthy dialogue here. And so Arson says, hey, how are you guys? I finally have an Android now, so I'm on time. Yeah, so what did you have before? You have you had the dial phone? And Paul, he says, how are you guys? Oh, no, no, that was Arson, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And then Paul says, hello, Demetra.
Yes.
Hello to you as well. So anyway, let's get into it. So the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all the things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people. And so, let me put this up a little bit. There we go. I think that's much better. So, today's topic is Black people shouldn't cape for Kamala. So, a lot of people are probably wondering, what does it mean to cape? Like, why does people keep saying don't cape? What's a cape? Cape is, think about Superman. When Superman puts on his cape, he's going to save somebody, or he's going to go save the world, or whatever the case is. So that means you're going to save, or you are pulling for them, you're rooting for them. So that's what it means as far as caping goes. For lack of better words, defending him. So that's what caping means, especially in this sense. Okay, and so I'm going to start it off like this, because I know we keep hearing a lot about Kamala, and just for you guys who don't know, Kamala has thrown her hat into the ring to become president of the United States in 2020. She wants to become the Democratic nominee. So she announced, a couple days ago, about a week ago.
At Howard University. Her
alumni.
And she's also a Greek.
Yeah, she's a soror.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess she announced today in California, which I didn't see that announcement.
She announced this morning, California.
She announced. But she originally announced on Martin Luther King's birthday at Howard University.
What a coincidence.
Really?
Yeah,
coincidence. Okay. All right, and so let me get into it, okay? Once upon a time in 1983, oops, I didn't have my microphone on. 1 second, you guys, sorry.
That's what happens when you...
this is like, I don't know, maybe I have a phobia of the microphone. Okay, so once upon a time in 1983, the Ryan family, along with a neighbor boy who spent the night with the family, was brutally murdered while they were sleeping in their Chino Hills home. Okay? The murders notoriously became known as the Chino Hills murders. Oops. Now, the word of the murders captivated the local news and terrified the people of the Inland Empire, which is where we are here in the Inland Empire. Because the police had led people to believe that an escaped inmate by the name of Kevin Cooper, a black man, was responsible for the murders. Okay? In fact, people were warned to be very cautious and to be on the lookout for him because he was very dangerous. Now, when I say dangerous, the family was butchered with knives and machetes, some of them decapitated. So it was very brutal, okay? So people were warned to be on the lookout for him. Now, I remember not being able to play outside after dark during this time because he might be lurking around. Like, people were, like, terrified to be outside. Okay. And so during the 7 weeks that Kevin Cooper was on the run, a case in regards to him being the murderer was being made by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department and the district attorney. Okay, now pinning him for the murder was easy to do because he had a very sordid criminal background that included rape and burglary. So I just want to say it wasn't like he was some saint. He had his issues too. He came from, I think it was Pennsylvania or something, and he ended up out here in Chino for a burglary or something. Okay, so while on the run in Mexico, he was accused of raping a woman in Mexico. And that's how he ended up getting caught and why he was on the run. So once he was caught, he was charged with the murders based on evidence. And notice how I said evidence in quotations, okay? Now, but it turns out the evidence was not genuine because it had been tampered with by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, okay? It was just a whole host of mess. You guys can go research it, okay? Also, the only surviving witness testified that 3 white men were responsible for the murders. However, due to racial injustices and police tampering, all of those things and many more exonerating factors were swept under the rug. Hence, he was found guilty and sentenced to death by lethal injection by the state of California. Once Kevin Cooper had exhausted all of his appeals, he was given a date to die. On February 10th, 2004, Kevin Cooper was 3 hours and 42 minutes away from being put to death. It was stopped because a dissenting judge was able to assemble enough judges to agree to allow him to get advanced DNA testing, okay? Now, moving forward to 2014, when Kamala Harris was the California's Attorney General, when she got elected and all that, she was presented with Kevin Cooper's case and a plea for advanced DNA testing. Because back then, in 1983, and really kind of up until, 10, 15 years ago or so, the DNA testing was kind of like,
Yeah, still in its infancy.
It was in its infancy. So this advanced DNA testing will pretty much rule out whether he was there or not, if he, was the killer. But a lot of evidence, even as I said, the surviving witnesses was like, or victims like, it wasn't him. It was 3 white guys who did this. Okay, so she was presented with Kevin Cooper's case and his plea for advanced DNA testing. She refused him a chance to clear his name and showed no interest after that. Okay, she was just like, yeah, whatever. Until May of 2018, so last year, she changed her mind. Okay, in addition to Governor Jerry Brown and Dianne Feinstein agreeing to grant him a shot at an advanced DNA testing, Harris also agreed while expressing regret in refusing to help him in the past. Okay, now, Black people disproportionately make up the most inmates on death row in California and in the nation. Black people are at 41.38%, 38%, and white people are at 42.03%. So not that much, okay? California has 267 Black inmates on death row and 245 white inmates on death row. Now, I say all that to say, if Kamala was truly for Black people, the way some of us are claiming she is, why would she ignore the plea of an innocent Black man? Because I wanted to really highlight that story because there's a bunch of stories, but I remember Kevin Cooper, and I remember him being, for lack of better words, framed for the murder. Now, just to give a little bit more context to his story, while he was on the run, he was it was said that he was hiding out in the neighborhood in one of the vacant houses, and so that's kind of how they pinned him for the murder, even though none of the DNA at the scene and all that matched him at all. It was said that the sheriff's department took some of his blood and kind of mixed it in with some other blood.
An OJ thing?
Yeah, like an OJ type of thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
The DA, the policeman's got the blood vial in his pocket and he's walking to the other crime scene. Okay,
all
gotcha.
of that. So basically, and so Kevin now has been granted a chance to clear his name by advanced DNA testing. He was granted that last month. I think it was December.
Yeah, I remember that.
So now we're going to wait and see if Kevin is really the murderer or not. And it's speculated, it was not speculated, there's a lot of evidence saying that he's not. But remember, Kamala was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to change it. She had the power to, mind you. Okay. Now, Kamala Harris was tough on black parents. While Kamala was a district attorney for the state of San Francisco, she imposed a truancy law that mandated a $2,000 fine and jail time for parents, parents whose children were habitually absent from school. Okay, $2,000 fine, and if they couldn't pay that, they were going to jail. Okay, now the truancy law affected mostly poor black mothers, causing them to miss work, be separated from their children, and go deeper into debt because they could not afford to pay the hefty fine. During her inaugural speech for the Attorney General of California, she proudly said, and this is a quote, you guys, "We are putting parents on notice. If you fail in your responsibility to your kids, we are going to work to make sure you face the full force and consequences of the law." Now she's talking to parents, which I'm not saying kids should, get away with not going to school, but I mean, come on. All right. Now you might all remember seeing Miss Harris rallying on behalf of illegal immigrants that were being separated and kept in cages, right? Y'all remember that last year when the kids were kept in cages, the DACA
and still currently
all of that other stuff. Okay. So why was she so concerned about the immigrants being separated and not black mothers being separated from their children? Because when a black mom goes to jail, she's separated from her kids, right?
Yeah. And what's the fastest growing group of people going to jail? Black women.
Right, black women. So you're advocating that black women go to jail because their kids are skipping school and you're imposing a $2,000 fine? Okay, but check this out. All right, so as beautifully pointed out by Charlie Peach from Medium.com, when Harris had the opportunity to prosecute Steve Mnuchin of One West Bank for corruption around the unscrupulous foreclosures of over 80,000 homeowners in California, she refused to do so.
And by the way, Steve Mnuchin is currently in the Trump administration as a Secretary of, I think, Commerce or something.
Well, go figure.
Yeah, he's in the administration right now.
Right. So, okay. So check this out. While she never gave an explanation as to why she refused to prosecute him, it was discovered that Harris received a $2,000 donation for her campaign from Mnuchin. It should also be noted that she was the only Democratic candidate to receive a donation from him. Now, mind you, she let him off the hook for screwing over 80,000 people. And they said
illegal foreclosures.
Right. They said like some people were behind 27 cents.
Right.
Like
and
stupid stuff.
And he foreclosed on them anyway.
He foreclosed on people for 27 cents, you guys. And she let him go. She like, as long as you give me my money.
No harm, no foul.
Nothing to this dude.
And she was the only Democrat he gave money to.
Okay, so here's a couple other things. You should also know that when she became DA of San Francisco, the felony conviction rate for drug dealers rose from 52% to 74% in 3 years. Just 3 years, okay? Now, Kamala was not for reforming the three strikes law either. In fact, she urged voters to reject Proposition 66 that would reform the three strikes law that would only apply to those who committed more serious felonies. So out here in California, the three strikes law was very egregious. If you stole a piece of pizza, like literally, there were people in prison for stealing a piece of pizza on their third strike. 25 years to life.
And you're locked down.
So Proposition 66 would, if they were to reverse it, would mean that, okay, only people, because originally it was intended for people who were raping.
Violent
offenders to stay in there. Like, okay, that's it, you're done. But this ended up to people like low-level stuff, So, but she didn't want to, and in fact, she said this, okay? She says, Kamala said that if the voters rejected the initiative, she would create a different form of it. Because she was like, you guys don't go with this. We need this to stay the way it is, okay? Now, she also argued against releasing nonviolent inmates early because California would lose an important labor pool.
That's right.
She didn't want to release people who were nonviolent because she needed the work labor from prison.
Right. The corporations that are benefiting from the work release.
So she was cool with leaving people who were doing stupid stuff in prison forever. In 2015, Kamala was against body counts for police officers but she arrested the protesters that were protesting her stance on not having body cams. So there were people outside of her office protesting, saying, yo, you need to go along with this. And she had them arrested. Okay.
She sounds a lot like a Republican to me.
Right.
I just, a conservative. I'm sorry.
And so one of her biggest donors is that of the police department and police unions. They continuously give money to her campaigns. Okay. She continuously turned a blind eye to law enforcement and misconduct in regards to asset seizures of properties. It is said that law enforcement officers got to keep millions and millions of dollars of properties that did not belong to them and from people who weren't even charged of anything. So if they're seizing your property, she's just like, whatever, just
it doesn't concern me, right?
Doesn't concern me. I know these people didn't do it, but yeah, go ahead and take their property, So she was cool with that. And it sounds like, too, she was even in favor of making it a law that there's nothing you could do about it. Okay. And then and I'm wrapping this up here, you guys, because I know you guys got a lot of comments. Okay. And in 2010, she was caught withholding information about a police laboratory technician who had been accused of intentionally sabotaging her work and stealing drugs from the lab. Yeah. In fact, she was admonished by a judge saying, yo, you're covering this up. Yeah. What's going on here? So she got busted doing that. Okay.
Red-handed.
Now, this last story here, and I promise you guys, I'm going to get to you guys' comments. I personally know of a black woman. In fact, she was one, and I'm not going to say her name, but I personally know her. Donovan's met her as well. But she was one of the first oral surgeons out here in California, black oral surgeons. Now, a man died in her care. What had happened was, after she did an oral surgery on him, he died. He didn't disclose to her all of the medications he was taking, and so the medications had an adverse effect with the anesthesia that she gave him. Okay, so what does that have to do with Kamala? Kamala signed off on restricting her license. Kamala Harris signed off on restricting this doctor's license without even knowing all of the facts, taking her income down from $500,000 a year to roughly $100 and something because she has that restriction on her license.
Right.
And so, again, we keep saying, well, Kamala's for black people. We need to stick together.
Where? Show me where.
And this is not everything, you guys. We could go on forever. But these are the things that I know of and personally know people who have been adversely affected by Kamala Harris. So let's see, what else do I have here? But last but not least, stop saying that she's better than Trump. Because you keep hearing people saying she's better than Trump.
How?
She is not better than Trump. If anything, she is the same because her politics are more on the right than they are the left. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're kind of doing the same thing. Yes, she's rallying for immigration, but she's screwing over, black people here.
Well, she ain't screwing us over. She's doing absolutely nothing.
Well, she's implementing policies that are harmful to black people. Right. Okay. And so, let's see. And we found out the hard way what it means to just vote for somebody because they're black. I'm guilty, too. And speaking of Barack Obama, we all, for the most part, he's black. How exciting to have a first black president. Right. So I think we're all pretty much guilty of that.
Yeah, but we're all also a part of history that made that happen. Yeah, so that's something you can put on.
Okay, so we give you one, right? Okay. And so she is not progressive. She is status quo, old establishment. Essentially, she is a part of the problem, especially when it comes to black people. Listen, it ain't even just black people who have a problem with it. It's a lot of other people that have a problem with her as well. So, but we're just the most affected by Kamala. So what are your thoughts about Kamala Harris's bid for the presidency of the United States? And what qualities should a candidate possess in order for us to give them our vote? And so thank you guys so much for bearing with me. But I really wanted to make sure I got those things across because a lot of people really just don't know what Kamala has been up to. All right, so I'll get to everyone in comment, okay? And so you said, Arson, I hope you had time to see in my inbox. I wonder what you think about it. I did not. I was running around in a million circles. So I will check it out. But if you want to tell me about it here, that'd be awesome, too. And Al says, nice dude, Kamala had a rally in Oakland today. Yeah, that's what, thank you. And that's what Donovan was saying. I guess she formally announced out here in California after she made the Chitlin circuit.
Well, that's kind of smart of her because those people don't really know. So they're going to be all ginned up.
Well, which a lot of people were ginned up about her. I mean, I got into a lot of heated discussions with people who basically said that I'm a crab.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm a crab in a bucket because and black people never stick together. I'm like, some things we don't need to stick together on.
Right.
You know? And then Al said, what picture is that on your shirt? It's a picture of a snake. It's kind of jacked up, kind of old and rugged. It says Weekend Warrior. And let's see. So hello to everybody that's on here. And then Mike, hey, he says, thanks for this info. Yeah, I mean, it's just, we need to know these things because a lot of us just don't. We just, cover our eyes and then we just go into the booth because everybody's so excited about Kamala, vote for Kamala, vote for Kamala. But it's like, why?
Skin folks ain't.
And, right. But I've also asked people that give me pushback. I said, okay, well, name me something that you like about Kamala. And listen, I think we should also make the difference. It's not that we're talking bad about Kamala. Because listen, I don't want to get into who she was sleeping with and all that. Because I've heard all the rumors. And,
some of that's not rumor.
Well, it's not rumors.
Right.
But if that's what she needed to do to get where she is.
Yes. I mean, wait. Why is it that when a woman does it, a man does it all the time, but when a woman does it, it's unacceptable? Think about that.
But I think we need to separate Kamala from her politics, if that's possible, So, because a lot of people are like, are you just being mean? No, we're pointing out her.
We want you to have all the information.
Right. Hey, Alex. Hey, Charles. He said, get her, D. Ain't nobody voting for no damn sellout Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, or Elizabeth Warren. Kamala is Hillary in blackface. Yes.
And Hillary lost.
Yeah, and then Donovan made a good point, too, is that Kamala is playing out of Hillary's playbook.
She met with the donors earlier this week. All that stuff.
What are we going to say? I'm with her?
Yeah. Ron says, hi, Demetra. Kamala was on The View Monday. She hinted then.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Well, Ron, I don't have TV, so I just get the sound bites.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think Kamala has been hinting for a long time, which is why she switched. Because even with the body cams, and did I read the body cams?
Read the body cam.
So even with the body cams, up until, last year? Or so, or right when she became a senator. So about 2 years ago when she became a senator, she was against body cams. Like why did they even implement body cams? Because more than not, black people were getting gunned down, in cold blood by police officers. And so the body cams was to really protect the police officers and improve what they're saying and protect us. And she didn't want that.
Right, because it was come to find out in a lot, especially here in California and some other states that have a big population of black people, what was on the police report was not the same as what the video showed.
I mean, even like with Los Angeles, the rap part division, they went down in smoke behind all that corruption and stuff. And so, but it's also not a secret that Kamala gets a lot of her donations from police departments and police unions. Like they are one of her biggest supporters. And so, of course, she's not going to go against, the person that's paying her bills. I mean, why would she do it?
A young lady named Katina, my sister-in-law, she says, wow, I did not know. I heard she was a trip. You're right. You cannot just go with someone because they're black. Yeah,
or we can't go with people because of the sound bites. Because and you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen Ricky Smiley, who was the big-time radio host, and he's a comedian and stuff. Ricky got on his social media and said, we need to stand behind her because she's a Greek.
That's right.
And he's a Greek and she's a soror and we need to stick together. So he says, Greeks, my fellow Greeks, unite so we can get her elected.
And don't get me wrong. We're not saying that because you're in a sorority or you're a Greek person, they do a lot of great things in the communities that they soror. So
but tell us why we need to vote for Kamala.
Yeah. If you saw the Ricky Smiley thing, he did not say one reason to qualify her.
Ricky has a huge audience. So imagine how many people are listening to him.
Yeah.
Just on his word alone.
Yeah. Well, you have a huge audience too.
Yeah. Okay. And Alex says, thank you, and Donovan for that love. It meant a lot. So he's talking about the music.
The beat.
Yes,
the beat.
Yes, absolutely. It's our pleasure.
I'm putting the next track on the next video.
That's right. It's our pleasure. And Alex says, what again did Obama do about Gaddafi? And so
killed him.
Right, he killed him. Him and Hillary killed Gaddafi. Making this argument that, he was torturing his people and he was just evil.
But Gaddafi had been doing that for over 40 years.
Right. But I mean, was it really?
Yeah. I'm
saying, was it? I don't know. Was it really torture or was it just the talking points we were getting?
Yeah, that's talking points we were getting. Because think about it. Why would he be voted the chairman of the Organization of African American Unity?
Right.
He did that like 2 or 3 times over a 40-year span.
Right. And so Gaddafi was murdered by the Obama administration by the say-so of Hillary Clinton, who was the Secretary of State. They built a case against Gaddafi. But for those of you guys who don't know about Muammar Gaddafi, the president of Libya, the ruler of Libya, however you want to say it, he was in the process of disassociating the African nations, diaspora, if you will, from using money. He wanted to transition into using gold, plus,
tangible.
Yeah, so tangible stuff. He wanted to just get away from European everything. He was
World
reaching
Bank.
out to even black people in America saying, hey, we need to get together. We need to unite. And then the next thing you know,
He did.
Poof, he's gone.
Right. There's a problem.
So Obama and Hillary destabilized the government in Libya, causing what we have as known as modern day slavery.
And nobody's saying a word about that.
That is due to Obama and Hillary. I don't care what nobody says. So that's what happened with Gaddafi. And Charles just says she is making billions for the prison industrial complex. Yeah.
She gets a lot of her support.
She gets a lot. So follow the money. Follow the money. Who's supporting her? You think she's going to tell them no? Or, well, I think we should, probably overturn this 3 strikes law. Because I know we got people in there for stealing diapers and pizza, but it's not right. Because we know that prisons are what?
What?
They're privatized.
Yeah, they're being privatized.
When something is privatized, what does that mean? That means they have investors. It means that you have to guarantee.
And the quality is a lot less.
Yes. But then you have to guarantee a return on the investment to your investors, and they are promising a 90% occupancy rate in some of these prisons, and so you don't have a 90% occupancy rate if you're letting people go. And to her point that she said, well, there's going to be a large part of the labor force if we let these people out. Mm-hmm. All right.
And by the Constitution, if you are incarcerated, you are technically a slave.
Right. That's what it says.
That's what it says.
Okay, and so Charles says, whoever fights for a Green New Deal, whoever don't accept corporate campaign money, federal jobs guaranteed at a living wage of the 99%, we know by now that the corporate Democrats, only fight for their corporate donors, and the corporate Republicans for their corporate donors too. Whoever pisses off the oligarchs is who we vote for. Right.
I agree with him.
Is that going to be Bernie?
Yeah, no, I agree with him, but I'm going to have to disagree because their donors, there isn't like separate donors. They're the exact same donors.
Right. Some of them donate to the same party. What is the only party there is?
The ruling party.
Which is what? The rich party.
The rich party.
Rich people stick together.
Yeah. So.
Okay. And so Belinda says, hey, what's happening? He says, that info I've seen the past week, so she won't get my voter support. Yeah.
Yes. Wake up.
That info is all over the place, and especially if we like research, there should be no reason why we vote for people simply based off her talking points. And because she looks good and she's smiling. I mean, we've seen her talk about, I saw one snippet of her talking about her favorite rap group was a Tribe Called Quest, and she says, yeah, check the rhyme. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, did you see that one where she was dancing?
I did.
Yeah, it's almost the Hillary thing. I got hot sauce in my purse.
Yeah, she says check the rhyme, Fife, and then Tariq Nasheed actually put it out. He says, does somebody want to tell her that Fife is dead?
Right.
Fife has been gone from us.
Yeah, about 4 years now.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while. He talking about, you know what I'm saying? Fife was like, who is her peoples? And Charles says Kamala is a whore for the Israel Zionists. Yeah, I've heard some things about her in Israel. I haven't done a whole lot of research, so maybe that's next on my list. But yeah, I have heard some things. Exactly what it is, I'm not really for sure. And then Alex is saying, yes, sir. And then Alex says, it's so cold. How cold is it? So cold that Kamala is running for president not to help black people. You're stupid. And Dwight saying, are you testing 1 2 1 2? And he also says socialism is great. Look at the government shut down 2 million people.
Can I use that? I need to use that on my show. I'm going to use that.
I don't think he would mind, but no, you're absolutely right. And Charles says democratic socialism. Yeah. Yeah, look what happened to all that socialism. It's like okay, so the government is going to open tomorrow for 3 weeks.
Well, it's open right now.
Okay, but yeah, so people get the notice. It's like, come on back to work. But so that's for 3 weeks. But let's say Trump gets another wild hair up in his...
Oh, he's not going to shut it down again. He can't afford it politically. Right. But let's say he does.
So what if he does it? That's only 3 weeks. So people are going to get a back pay. As your mom pointed out last week, it's going to be taxed at a higher rate because it's more money. What's going to happen?
We'll be back.
I mean, a lot of people probably really didn't think the dude was going to shut it down the last time.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
For all these conservatives that don't believe in big government, when the government shut down, they were one of the main ones hollering and screaming.
And hollering, yeah. I saw a lot of snippets on CNN. I don't see any more of you guys' comments, which is why we're talking, but I saw a lot of snippets from CNN where a lot of the Trump supporters was like, oh gosh, I feel betrayed.
Well, I didn't know it was going to affect me.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks away from not having any money. I don't know what
I've got to sell my car. Right.
Hold up. This is who you voted for. Mm-hmm. You walked into the booth and said, MAGA.
Exactly.
MAGA. And you put it, I was like, oh, you didn't think he was going to do it to you?
Yes.
We're friends.
Right. Well, one thing I don't understand is if the wall was such a priority to President Trump, he got that tax cut through for the rich. He made sure that was done.
Right. Why
didn't he get that? Shouldn't that have been at least number 2 behind the tax cut? All of a sudden, he loses the House, and you still think you're going to get a wall?
You know what? I kind of wonder, too, does he really want the wall, or is it something else?
No, it's just a soundbite. That was supposed to be a fictitious thing, but guess what? Everybody started believing it. Yeah.
People really held him to it. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It was cute. Mm-hmm. It was all fun and games.
It kept him on point to what immigration, talking about immigration.
It was all fun and games. We're going to build the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it.
And we're not paying for that fucking wall.
And Dwight says, I will not, it will not be shut down again. It is over. He moves on. Fight Russia probe. Some voted for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think because, a lot of people are taking him to task for being beaten up by a girl.
Right.
And so maybe that's going to get under his skin a little bit, but who knows? And then his daughter-in-law was telling Americans, just suck it up.
Yes.
It's for the betterment of the country. You guys can do it. Just continue to fight on. It's like as you're eating your caviar and lobster.
Let them eat cake.
That's what she might as well really have said that.
Or what's that one guy, not Manishan, but the other guy that's in his cabinet that was like, I don't understand why people aren't going to get loans if it's going to be a bad problem for them.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I don't see any, hey Tammy, I don't see any more comments, okay? You know I ain't got no money. I ain't got no job either.
Right. How you going to get a loan?
Donovan, can you loan me? I need about $10,000.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Here you go.
Let me see your bank statements and,
Sure.
Well, what happened was...
Yeah, and a lot of us don't have fathers that'll give us $468 million.
Right.
In the 70s, and then we blow it, and then he bails us out on a continual basis.
Right. And Dwight says the wall was alive because of that guy with the white hair. Which guy with the white hair? Pence?
Yeah, I think it was Pence, yeah.
It was alive from the pit of hell, but, it was just... people believed him, and he's like, "Well, I can't let them down."
It was a good PR, and I want you guys that are listening to the Demetra K Show. Where is the collusion? You guys keep trying to talk about. This is the number 6 top guy that they just indicted, but there's no collusion. There's no collusion.
Right. Well, I don't think anybody here is on that. Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do you not see that?
Right. And let's see. And so Charles says the shutdown should show everyone that if the workers ever organize and shut down America until bold demands are met during the economics, unrigged the economic system, now is the time. Yeah, but I think people are pacified again. And that's another point that I wanted to make, too, about being pacified. Mm-hmm. Let's see. And Dwight says, let them eat cake.
That's it. Look,
that was her attitude. Let them eat cake.
But I got to say this, big ups to the Democrats, because I thought they were going to cave as they usually do.
Too, yeah.
So big ups for them. And, and hopefully they will realize when you stand up to a bully and fight for what is right, you know,
because now his own people started blaming him, like, okay,
this ain't working.
Because me blaming the Democrats ain't putting no food on my table.
Exactly. And you've explained this to the American people twice, and your poll numbers are still tanking.
Right. So, right. And then Archie says, thank you for the heads up about Kamala. I was not aware of who it was. I will be careful. And also, and then Dwight says Hakeem Jeffries is the guy, Grand Wizard of the 1600. Yeah. Not Roger Stone and Sam Nunberg.
Yeah, Sam Nunberg. Yeah, he was a person that was brought in.
So this is the thing, okay? I think like when we continue to vote for candidates because they're black or, because I asked somebody last week when they kind of gave me a hard time about it. I asked them, I said, well, what do you like about Kamala that would make you vote for her? And she says, nothing that I can think of. Which at least she was honest, because a lot of people will have the same answer. Well, I don't know. I just think we should vote for her. Like, people legitimately got mad at me. And I'm asking, well, what about her policies would make you want to vote for her?
And they can never tell you.
And they couldn't say anything. So my other thing is, too, we don't need to vote in a candidate to rock black people into a further coma.
Yes.
As we say on our other show, we don't need what?
We don't need no NyQuil for Negroes.
NyQuil for Negroes. We don't need to vote no more NyQuil for Negroes.
Keep us dizzy and kind of lethargic.
Just keep us subdued and just, we don't need that. And listen, you guys, I want to tread lightly when I say this, okay? Donovan, you got my back?
I got your back. I'm
going to tread lightly. I don't like Trump at all. So I want to put that out
That's
there.
a fact. Trust me. She has on her urinal, she has a picture of Trump. Yes.
No, really, I don't like anything that he does. The only thing I like about Trump, though, so I shouldn't say anything, but the one thing I like about Trump is that he is forcing open the eyes of black people.
Yes.
He is. Because when the shutdown had occurred, black people were getting it the most. The government workers are made up of a lot of black people. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of black people on these social programs. I mean, like, next month, people were not going to eat if they were dependent upon food stamps. Mm-hmm. And so we don't need another person like Kamala to rock us back to sleep, or, Barack Obama. I'm not saying
or keep the status quo.
Yeah, we need somebody who is going to get in there and wake us up and help us too, because black people need help.
We need help.
Because you hear also people say, well, what do you want Kamala to do that you can't do for yourself? It's like, it's not that she's going to go in there and actually do something. Well, she should try.
Well, can I answer that question real quick, not to cut you off? Well, what can she do? As you can't do much in this country if you don't have the legislative law behind you.
Right,
to
but
enforce
I'm saying,
it.
But if you getting on radio station talking about you like Tribe Called Quest and, Beyonce's Lemonade and all, I mean, you should at least, because you're pandering, but at least be genuine in your pandering.
Right, but also you need legislation to back what you... I mean, I could be outside the jail protesting all day, but until the law is changed, which she has the power to introduce.
Right. As a senator,
exactly.
She does, but she's not going to do that because now she's on campaign mode, and so she's got to, toe the line and say everything right. Mm-hmm. But I think she's realized at this point that she screwed up with black people, and so that's why... she started to change her. Like, she's
trying to move to the left.
Well, she did a flip-flop. Is what she did on a lot of the things that were very harmful to black people. And so now she's on the side of right, if you will.
And then if you guys are paying attention, you get a chance, look at some of the clips on YouTube and some of her press things. When she's talking off-candid, you're going to see her slip off of her talking points. And then she's like deer in the headlights every time they catch her.
She's also said, too, when she's been presented the chance to answer what she is, she says, I'm an American. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, she does not identify as a black woman.
I think she does now.
Yeah, now. Yeah. But if you look at her record, she always
I'm an American.
Yeah, she's an American.
The question.
And then if you look at the census and some of the forms here in California, she always put white.
Really?
Yes.
Ain't that something?
Absolutely.
And then Dwight says Hakeem Jeffries is the guy. Oh, I read.
Yeah,
that.
Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah.
All right, Charles says they're getting ready to raid Venezuela of their 300 billion barrels of oil reserves and install another puppet regime to American interests. Yeah. Which senator or somebody?
Marco Rubio.
Somebody else over here too was very instrumental in saying we need to leave them alone. Stay out of.
Oh yeah, that wasn't Marco Rubio.
No, as a lady, new Gabbard or somebody.
Gibbard or something like that.
She's saying stay away from there. Yeah. Leave them alone.
Yeah. Did you guys realize they have hyperinflation of 2-something million%? Their dollar is worth nothing. I mean, they are like, and they said over 3 million people have left Venezuela since 2014.
Well, I guess what's going to go over there when they leave.
Right. And
then Dwight says, no Democrats resistance, moveon.org, indivisible. So are you saying those are the good organizations, moveon.org and resistance? And you also say Kamala Harris is the best now, strong on crime, black and Asian. So you're saying she is the best now because she's strong on crime, but...
Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, give us some examples of what makes... Because we're talking really in relation to black people. And so what has she done that you like as far as crime?
Because she's locked up a lot of black people in California, that's for sure.
she's strong on crime.
Regardless of the evidence.
And also know when somebody talks about being tough on crime, what does that mean?
That's a key word is I'm locking them black niggas
I'm
up.
tough on your black ass. That's what tough on crime means. I'm going to be tough on black people because that's a dog whistle.
It's a dog whistle.
To white people that I'll make sure you're protected from these animalistic black people.
And again, if you look at her record, she was locking up minorities regardless of the evidence.
Right. Exactly.
Regardless.
And even when the evidence she knew was tampered. And Al says, I believe Trump and Kamala are effing just like Bush did with the nappy head black lady we talking about Condoleezza Rice. You know what? Not
That's his brown bunny.
And Charles likes NyQuil for Negroes.
Yes.
Use it, you guys.
Yes, use it.
Use it. We don't need no more NyQuil for Negroes because we are already we're under a coma.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we are in so much of a coma. It's like that. And unfortunately, this happened. That lady that was impregnated, she had been in a coma for so many years. That it happened in Phoenix. That was a nightmare. But almost like that. That's how we are. We are so comatose that they can do anything to us, and we wouldn't know what's going on.
And I want to talk about the bone. And let me get to you guys' comments. Don't let me forget about the bone.
The bone.
And so Dwight says, Donald Trump hurts a lot of blacks. 30% public servants are black. No, I'm not saying he don't hurt a lot of blacks, but I think black people need to really see that we don't have any friends in Washington. Like, Asians don't depend on...
They don't depend on...
Y'all name me one Asian, other than the ones that's in the Senate and stuff. Like, Asians you know personally on Facebook and any of that, that's continuously crying about the stuff that goes on in their communities like we do.
Or their food stamps are getting cut.
Yeah.
I don't even know an Asian that even says that kind of stuff.
They do, they ain't tricking them off. They like flipping that stuff.
Right.
You know, if you go get some, shrimp fried rice, the food stamps bought that.
Right. But even if they are cut off, they're not hollering because they, like you said, they're doing what they got to do. But I don't know an Asian person that's on the system.
But so the point that I'm making is I'm saying, Trump has hurt black people. Well, hell, all the presidents have hurt black people.
Every last one of them.
But so we don't need somebody to continue to lie to us and rock us back to sleep even further. I mean, we need to know the truth. That the truth is we only have each other or us. That's all we have is us. That's the truth. Hey, John. And he says 100. Al says Trump and Kamala are super stringent when it comes to black people, making life very palatable for them. Yes, I mean, they do make it very hard for black people. And Dwight says blacks are only 20% of the overall electorate. She is going to win in South Carolina and backed by the Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Yeah, they're going to get the vote out.
Well, I hope we get the word out. I mean, I don't think she'll get on the become the Democrat nominee anyway.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, and we said it right here. I think she's going to get her head busted in the general election. I mean, in the primaries. She's not going to make it out of the primaries.
Well, I don't think she will either.
Yeah, she's not going to make it out of the primaries.
But, it's nice to know that she's able to be fluid and flexible. She can change her stance. Let's see if, she doesn't get the nomination. She goes back to, being friends with the police department again, you know. And Dwight says 5 out of 8 NFL coaches were black fired from this past season NFL coach firings. Well,
welcome to the plantation.
Did they not think fat meat was greasy?
Oh, man.
I mean, what is it? How many? 27 teams?
Yeah, 28 teams, I think.
28 teams or whatever, and there's 8 firings. What percentage is that?
That's a little over 20%.
Or more, 25%.
Yeah, something like that.
Ain't it?
Yeah, about that.
Well, something like shit. I don't know math, but that's a lot. So, I mean, they didn't think fat meat was greasy. They didn't think they were expendable. They up there, shucking and jiving and stuff. I mean, what they'll do to Colin Kaepernick, anybody else, they'll do to you too. You ain't special. I'm just saying, Arthur says, thank you about Trump. It's exactly as I said. I said it way back. If you guys remember, I said a danger will force us to wake up and hopefully eventually stick together.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
yes, you did. I remember.
Let's see. He says, oh yeah, and about what I put in your inbox earlier is not much. It was some recording that came out recently. Supposedly one of the doctors at the hospital when MLK had been taken when he was shot, and apparently the bullet never killed him on the balcony. It was a doctor who cleared the room when he walked in and said, let that nigger die.
Yeah, I think I heard that conspiracy.
And he was suffocated with a pillow. Anyway, thank you again for all the work you two do every week. No, It's our pleasure. I did hear that. I guess his doctor wrote a book and detailed the fact that he was still alive, but they killed him in the hospital. So,
yes, sir.
It's not unbelievable. I mean, why would he lie? So there's a whole lot of conspiracies surrounding, the death of MLK. And Dwight says Asians are entrepreneurs. Blacks are stigmatized because of our color and segregation. Blacks mobilize over the struggle. Right. And so
we're consumers. We're not.
Yeah, but I really like that you said that because we do. Like as I said last week, we are reactive, and the struggle is reactive. You know, anytime you're struggling, you're constantly reacting, trying to figure out how to get out of the struggle, opposed to saying, okay, we have all this money. Let's start doing something with it to help us as a collective. Because a lot of times I think in our community, you have some black people who make a lot of money. Well, shoot, I'm okay. I ain't part of that.
I try to do the best I can
in the community. I didn't want to mention your name,
but I try to do the best I can to help.
But overall, I mean, we are a collective. You know, and so, yeah, we are struggling instead of figuring